Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Tuesday, August 22nd, 2023 Board of Education regular board meeting. Are there any requests to speak for closed item? Hearing none, we will now adjourn to closed session and we will, thank you. Good evening, everyone in the boardroom and those joining us online. Welcome to our Board of Trustees meeting Tuesday, August 22nd, 2023. Now we will ask for language access. There you go. Thank you, Sophia.
Good evening. We have Spanish interpretation available, and we also have ASL interpretation available through Zoom. Muy buenas tardes. Tenemos interpretación al español disponible y estamos aquí para ayudarle con interpretación por si acaso alguien quiere escuchar la interpretación al español. Gracias. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Maldonado, please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please rise and face the flag. Put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now, make an announcement for closed session. In closed session, the board approved the appointment of Dr. Sonia Wilson as Executive Director, Secondary Education, by a 3-0 vote. Tonight, a 3-0 vote is unanimous vote, with two board members, Ms. Virginia Alvarez and Mr. Gabe Escobedo, absent. So our three unanimously 3-0. That motion passed 3-0. Thank you. And now we will have the student board member report. And welcome, Anastasia.
Okay, so yesterday was...
Oh, wait, 1 second. Yeah, turn it on.
Yesterday was the first day of school, which I think went pretty smoothly. Everyone seemed welcome back onto campus. And then from there, I'm just waiting to see everyone get in their classes and getting situated, and then kind of seeing where I can step in with promoting resources and getting students involved and engaged on campus.
Thank you. Now we have the superintendent's report.
Welcome to Anastasia. I think this is my first meeting with you. I've been absent myself, so welcome. We're excited to have you. And board members, there's so much that I have not reported on, like our Fiesta Float, so thank you for participating in that with our meeting. We also had a great kickoff at San Marcos High School last week with all our staff members present. We had a chance to share our Every Child book, and I know that was shared through PDF and through a QR code, and then people are getting hard copies back at their sites. So I'm really proud of that work that we all collaborated on from our Breakthrough Leadership Conference back in June. So I thank Board President Sims Moten and all the others that are listed in here for that work. And then, of course, yesterday, as Anastasia said, was the first day of school. It was off to a great start. I want to thank everyone that made it happen so beautifully for students, especially given the fact that we had such strange weather. I did have a chance to go around to schools yesterday and seeing some excited students, some still trying to wake up, some of our older students, and being ready to learn. I want to thank the staff that were also more than ready to take on this challenge. We have a lot to celebrate this year as our school year gets underway. We're launching a new literacy curriculum in elementary. We have a renewed focus on mental health of our staff and students, and are working to develop getting to know each and every student on our campus, because you need to get to know the whole student to truly understand how we can best support them in the classroom. I do want to take a moment to thank all the people that worked throughout the summer to help get schools ready, our custodians, our facility staff, some of the food staff that also provided meals during the summer and cooked some of the meals for our meetings, our administrators preparing trainings that were held this summer. Particularly in elementary, we had a great turnout of elementary teachers coming on their summer break to learn. I want to give them a special shout out. It does take a village to run all our schools, and we're so thankful for each and every employee in our district and look forward to seeing the new school year unfold. With that, I do have a short video that we prepared to just show you a little bit about the rainy weather visits we had in our schools. So I think, Oscar, will you please share that? And our very own Anastasia did some interviews, and I want to say that as the media tour unfolded, we had a chance to really highlight some of the great work at Dos Pueblos High School. We have preliminary results coming out of Dos Pueblos that are very promising, and I'm very proud of those outcomes. You'll get to hear more reports about that in coming meetings. We also had a chance to highlight the IB program at La Cumbre, and at Roosevelt, we got to highlight a little bit of the new literacy program. So with that, I will conclude my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Board members, any reports and or comments? Mr. Banning?
I just want to say how much I love the first days of school. There's always a sense of renewal and enthusiasm in this environment of public education, and although there are cycles in other professions, it's nothing like the first day of school. So to each of us in the room, our challenge is to maintain and cultivate that renewed energy and to keep our attention focused on inspiring ourselves to do our best to keep it up all year and to keep this kind of wonderful energy around public education for the students in Santa Barbara.
Thank you, Mr. Banning. Ms. Munoz?
That's it.
So, thank you. Good evening. I'm excited about the return to school. It seems like summer just began and we're already back to return to the school. Very excited about going to the back to school nights and seeing what's being offered this year. I want to give my kudos to the students, parents, staff, teachers that have prepared for the back to school, and then also recognizing when it's a change of grade level. You know, I've talked to several parents where their child has graduated from elementary school, is going into junior high, and then also going to high school, and just all the rites of passage with that. I had the pleasure of attending along with Dr. Maldonado, President Sims Moten, Virginia Alvarez, and members of our cabinet to the Black Youth Summit this Saturday. Special experience and great conversations that came up. Seeing the students from Santa Barbara, Lompoc, and Santa Maria, they're participating with their parents or caregivers was just awesome. The dance, the joy, the poetry that was shared with us, just learning from that, and the spirit of inclusion and diversity and cultural awareness and learning were very special. So I'd like to certainly give recognition to the organizers of that, including Connie Alexander, Ms. Sims Moten, and the gals that put that together and such. So yeah, so here we are again, and looking forward to just, you know, sharing with others about their excitement and experiences at the first days of school, first weeks.
Thank you. And I'll just conclude. I want to have the opportunity on the opening, the Welcoming Back Day. How exciting to see all of you there. I really just want to maintain this throughout the year to, first of all, say thank you and acknowledge you for how you show up, that you show up, and how often you show up in the way that you show up. So I want to thank you for that and acknowledge the work that you do. And thank you for coming back to the first day of school, as well as the students. So just want to always acknowledge and say thank you for the work that you do. Also had the opportunity to attend the Black Youth Summit at Santa Barbara City College, which is the first annual, and to be able to have those from all three districts come and join that. And the kids were outstanding. They were little ones from 5 all the way up until high school, and they were looking at, you know, they shared spoken word and poetry and dance and movement. Even some of our cabinet got on the line and started moving with them. So the more that we're continuing to come together and be focused on success for all of our students, the more that we're going to have that, you know, we're going to have the collaborative work, and we're just going to become one. It's not going to have to wonder if we're doing it. We're going to always be including everybody being their best and sharing their best at who they are. And so the drumming at the end, the drumming culminated it all, because they came together and didn't really know about drumming at all. And by the end of the day, you saw them really figuring out how they need to work together to get the beat going. And so if there's anything else that's about drumming that's bringing us together, we need to beat our drums about what we're doing and how we're coming together. That comes in many different ways. We may not necessarily know how to do it in the beginning, but in the end, if we continue to work on those beats and moving it different ways, we will send out that message of what we want to do this year, and we want to make sure that we're student-centered, our teachers are being appreciated, all the folks that make this district work being appreciated. So I just want to express my thank you and looking forward to this new year. And with that, we will move to public comments. Ms. Munoz.
Okay, we do have public comments, and they're on, let's see, non-agenda matters. I'll call the first one is Julie Churchman. Okay, and we'll give 3 minutes to each speaker. I'll give the warning at when you have 30 seconds left. Okay, thank you.
Good evening, school board, superintendents, parents, and concerned community members. My name is Julie Churchman, and I was a physical education teacher at Adams Elementary School from 2010 to 2022. While I was there, I developed an extensive skills-based physical education program, which included bike education and swim lessons. First off, I want to thank Board President Wendy Sims-Moten for visiting the Adams campus following the last board meeting that I attended. I believe you were able to see for yourself that the foundations for the emergency night lighting have been situated in the wrong place for children to be able to play freely without being concerned about their safety. Again, I implore each one of you to visit the Adams campus so that you will fully understand why I am still coming to these board meetings and asking you to have the emergency lights removed to a better location on the school site. Today, I was able to see firsthand how these foundations impact the use of the Adams playground. During all 6 recess periods, the students were not utilizing the playground as they have in the past. Students were avoiding the kickball area and the football area where these foundations are currently located. The Santa Barbara Unified School District Board Policy BP 5142 for student safety states, quote, "The governing board recognizes the importance of providing a safe school environment that is conducive to learning and promotes student safety and well-being. Appropriate measures shall be implemented to minimize the risk of harm to students, including, but not limited to, protocols for maintaining safe conditions on school grounds, promoting safe use of school facilities and equipment, and guiding student participation in educational programs and school-sponsored activities," end quote. Is the school board policy truly providing a safe space for the 500 students who daily use the Adams playground? Finally, today while visiting Adams, I was given a file of letters from some former students who had written thank you notes to me when I left Adams in 2022. Most of these letters spoke not only about how much these students enjoyed playing kickball during PE and recess, but also how much they enjoyed learning how to ride a bike and riding bikes during their PE classes. The current placement of the emergency lights not only obstructs the kickball area, but also impacts the safe bike riding on the playground. I ask all of you again to please visit the Adams playground, this time during a recess time, to see that the students are not fully utilizing the space as they should be able to. Thank you very much.
Okay, now we'll have Ashley Cornelius.
All right. Good evening, board members and Dr. Maldonado. My name is Ashley Cornelius. I've been teaching in the Santa Barbara School District for the last 18 years, and I plan on being in the classroom for the next 12. Every new teacher I welcome into our school, I see as an investment, and I hope they will be here for another 30 years. Why is this important information? Because I am invested in the long-term health and stability of this district. And when we welcome in 80 to 100 new educators every year, that is not healthy. For the last 2 years, I have represented our educators on the bargaining team, and I will be doing so again this year. We will be asking for a lot, And it is vital that the board and our community know that we will be looking at our district's finances with the intent of figuring out what is best for our schools for this year and for the next 30 years. Our district needs to invest the financial resources that we have to bring long-term stability to our schools. There are some of you sitting up there who care more about who will vote for them in the next election than the students in our classrooms today. There are some of you up there who care more about the photo op that you can get than the students that we're going to have in our classrooms in 5 years. Investing in our teachers and working to retain our teachers is what is best for our students this year, next year, and in 30 years. For those of you who actually care about our students more than your political future, you need to be aware that some of the people making decisions about our district's finances will have moved on to bigger goals. But I'm still going to be here. Teachers here are still going to be here. The hundreds of teachers that sent in postcards to you over the summer, they're going to be here. The 100 of teachers who came out on the second day of school when we are exhausted mentally, physically, emotionally. We came out here because we care about this district, and we're going to be here. And we want you to know that now is the time to make change. Thank you.
Okay, now we will have Karen Dutton.
Good evening, Dr. Maldonado, Ms. Sims-Moten, Board, Cabinet. My name is Karen Dutton, and as I enter my 37th year as a music educator this week, 36 in the Santa Barbara Unified School District, I'm very concerned about the status of the music program at Santa Barbara Junior High. If you are not aware, currently all 7th grade musicians at Santa Barbara Junior High must take music in 0 period, and all 8th grade musicians have been placed in 1st period. They have been placed in those classes whether they are beginners or experienced, or whether they wanted to be in jazz band, orchestra, drumline, or concert band. Anyone in the music education field would find this absurd. So let me share this analogy with you. Imagine if all the basketball, football, soccer, tennis, and baseball players, freshmen and varsity, were all placed under one coach in the same time slot with no assistants. Absurd, right? While I understand that educational decisions are made with the best intentions, I believe that in this case, the decision to set the classes at Santa Barbara Junior High in this manner does not align with the district's focus of every child, every chance, every day. I believe there is even a greater problem here, and that is the overall lack of access to music classes at the junior high level. The new health requirement in 7th grade and the lack of a 7-period day would allow students to take 2 electives. If we think of our K-12 music program as a flower, we've done a great job of planting the roots in our elementary schools. We have great music programs in our elementary schools. If we want beautiful blooms in the high school, we need to keep nourishing our flowers at the junior high level. I kindly request that you consider these concerns and explore options that will provide the best learning experience for our young musicians. They deserve that. Sorry, when you've been doing this for 37 years, you get a little emotional about it. I am more than willing to sit down at the table with you and brainstorm ways in which we can make our music programs at the junior high stronger. As a community, we value the well-rounded education that includes both academic and artistic growth, and I am confident that by revisiting the current practice, we can ensure that every child, every chance, every day remains at the heart of our district's educational approach. Thank you for your time.
Okay, now we will have Joel Block. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Joel Block, a proud member of the Santa Barbara Teachers Association, and I've just completed my 41st year as an educator, and I'm not going anywhere. My religion teaches me that it is the duty of all humans to do what they can to try and perfect the world. We do not have to complete the perfection, but we are not allowed to refrain from trying. Symbolically, this is stated that the vessels of creation were broken, and it is our job to repair the vessels. Last school year, the refusal of the district and this board to negotiate or honor any of the issues paramount to the teachers has created a lack of trust and respect in the minds of the teachers as to the intentions of this board and district. In terms of the symbolism I just mentioned, the vessels of trust and respect are not just broken, they are shattered. It is a responsibility of you, this board and district, to put those shattered pieces back together. To do that, you must show us that you truly believe that we are your partners and not just when we agree on some issue. You must honor our values, our needs, our desires, and negotiate in good faith sooner than later. No late start, no dragging out of negotiations, no more use of canards such as we are saving for the future, or that money to meet our needs does not exist. We know that Santa Barbara teachers have the largest earning to cost of living gap in the state. Failure to close this gap significantly will continue to make it difficult, if not impossible, for teachers to remain in the district and will have a long-term disastrous effect on our students. In the past, our union has been usually willing to go with the district determinations and offering due to mutual trust and respect. Unfortunately, those days are gone. No longer will we go along to get along. Your actions and lack of actions have radicalized the teachers, and we will be demanding that we be treated better and compensated at a decent and not subsistence wage. We will negotiate in good faith, but
30
we will
seconds.
not back down. We are here to stay, and we are here to improve everybody's lives in our school system. Thank you.
Hosby Galindo?
Board member, superintendent, and cabinet, thank you for listening to our members' message. I'm Osby Galindo, SBTA president. Every child, every day, every chance. Our teachers cannot agree more with this message. Teachers live up to this motto every day when they interact with our students in the classroom and on campuses. Last year, you had the opportunity to demonstrate your commitment to students by investing in them. However, your actions have shown you still have more to do. We are here today asking you to invest in our students. Students deserve educators who can afford to stay in Santa Barbara. Our district should make retaining our staff a priority. Our students benefit from the classroom experience and training our teachers receive here in our district. Last school year, surrounding districts showed their commitment to their students by giving their teachers up to a 10% raise. They have retained their teachers and now attracted some of our educators. As a result, students in our districts are reaping the benefits of the nearly 200 teachers that have left our district over the past 2 years. We need to do better for our students. Not only should we retain our educators, we need to attract them too. We currently have teacher positions not filled in our district in areas such as special education, music, and math. This situation does not give our students every chance every day. The district's failure to attract and retain teachers means we cannot best meet our students' social and emotional needs nor educational needs. The loss of experienced educators and the inability to attract teachers means our current workforce is being stretched thin. Please help stop teacher fatigue and burnout. Again, students deserve teachers who can afford to live where they work. Students deserve teachers with better working conditions. Students need their school board and superintendent to demonstrate their commitment to providing this for them. Let us fight forward together for our students. Retain and attract teachers today. Thank you.
That concludes public comment.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Smith. Thank you very much for those who spoke and for coming in. So we will be moving to our consent agenda. Board members, are there any consent agendas items we'd like to pull for discussion? Hearing none, may I have a motion for approval?
I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Okay, I second.
Motion is second. All in favor, please raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes. So we'll just pause a minute while everybody exits. So that moves us to our action agenda. Ms. Munoz, you'll take this action. Superintendent.
Board President, I'd like to pull case number 202223-06 from this item.
Okay. All right, then we'll move forward. Thank you.
Okay, so for the number one, the petition for readmission of expelled students, Education Code 48918. I'd like to make the motion to approve the petition for readmission in case number 2022-23-03.
I second.
Been motion and second. All in favor, please raise your hand and say aye.
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 Motion passes.
Okay, I'd like to make the motion to approve the petition for readmission in case number 2022-23-10.
I second that motion.
Motion and second. Please raise, all in favor, please raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Okay, I'd like to make the motion to approve the petition for readmission in case number 2022-23-14.
I second.
Motion and second. All in favor, please raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Okay, I'd like to make the motion to approve the petition for readmission in case number 2022-23-17.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, motion and second. All in favor, please raise your hand and say aye.
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 Okay, make the motion to approve the petition for readmission in case number 2022-23-20.
Second.
Motion and second. Please raise your hand and say aye. All in favor.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, the motion to approve the petition for readmission in case number 2022-23-21.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor, please raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. That concludes. Thank you very
Yes.
much. And a big congratulations for those students that being readmitted. Thank you for the work to get back in. So appreciate it. Thank you. Next, we'll move to our next F2, approval of resolution number 2023-2404, authorizing disposal of surplus instructional materials during the 2023-24 fiscal year. Oh, you're there, Kim. I didn't see you.
I'm here. These are very easy. We do these every year. Anytime that we have surplus instructional materials, this is the resolution to be able to dispose of them. We can either sell them, or we can give them away, or we can dispose of them. So this is just the resolution for that.
Okay. Is there any public comment wishing to speak on this item? No public comment. Any questions or comments, board member?
I move to approve Resolution 2023-24-04, authorizing disposal of surplus instructional materials during the 23-24 fiscal year.
I second.
Okay. Motion then second. Raise your hand, please, and say aye. All in
Aye.
favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you. I do just have one quick question. So for the ones that you sell, so does the money come back and go back into wherever, if it's disposed of books or something like, does it go back to that? Okay.
Yes, we would. And I have another one.
Oh, yes. So number 3. Okay, number 3.
So this is the resolution, the next one is for the disposal of surplus property. So the first one was instructional materials, and this is property. So there are times when we have no more use for property, and we just have a resolution every year for you to be able to allow us to dispose of that as well.
Public comment? No public comment. May I have a motion?
I move to approve the resolution number 2023-2405, authorizing disposal of surplus property during the 23-24 fiscal year.
I second.
Motion and second. All in favor, please raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. Next, we're moving to F4, approval of resolution 2023-2406, approving lease-back contract documents and authorizing execution, delivery of site lease and facility lease relating to the La Cumbre, the Santa Barbara Community Academy Makerspace project.
Good evening, board members, President Sims Moten, Superintendent Dr. Maldonado, Executive Cabinet, and the members of the public. Today I'm here to present 3 items in sequence. We have 2 resolutions and 1 inspection services agreement. And the first resolution is about the project at Santa Barbara Community Academy Makerspace, which would be a renovation of their existing MPR room. So on February 14th, the board approved McGillivray Construction Company as the contractor for this project. And the resolution 23-2406 is asking for the approval of leaseback contract documents because related to this project. And it, with the upgrade, it will be a great improvement for Santa Barbara Community Academy students and the Santa La Cumbre students as well. And, this is all done, the leaseback contract that we're asking to approve is done in accordance with Education Code Section 17406 that guides this process. So the facilities lease includes pre-construction provisions and construction provisions, with the contractor providing the guaranteed maximum price. The resolution of which will be my next item after this item is approved. The board has been presented with all relevant lease documents, and with that, I kindly ask the board to approve the site lease and facilities lease as presented in Resolution 2023-24-06.
Okay, any requests to speak on this item from the public? Any board members' comments or questions?
I make the motion to approve the resolution 2023-2406.
Second.
Okay, motion and second. All in favor, please raise your hand and say aye.
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 Motion passes.
Thank you so much. And now that the Resolution 6 has been approved, I'd like to present Resolution number 2023-24-7, which requests approval of the guaranteed maximum price for the same project, Santa Barbara Community Academy Makerspace project. So the contractor completed the pre-construction services phase and prepared a guaranteed maximum price, estimate of $1,686,576.43 plus 10% of contingency. So Education Code Section 17406 mandates board approval of the proposed GMP before the contractor proceeds with the construction services phase. And with that, I would ask for your approval for Resolution 2023-24-07.
Thank you. Any requests to speak? Hearing none, may I have a motion?
I move to approve Resolution 23-24-07.
I second.
Motion and second. All in favor, please raise your hand and say aye.
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 Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And finally, with the approval of these 2 resolutions and the go-ahead for the project, a division of state architect inspector is required for the project. So The Leach Group has provided inspection services for numerous projects here at the district, and we would like to ask for your approval for Leach Group's proposal of $60,200 for inspection services for the Santa Barbara Community Academy at La Cumbre Junior High School Makerspace project.
Any requests to speak on this item? May I have a motion?
Yes, I make the motion to approve the proposal from the Leach Group for division of the state architect inspection services.
Second?
Been moved and seconded. All in favor, please raise your hand and say aye.
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 Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now we're moving to F7. Dr. Becky, I see you're on your way.
Thank you. Good evening, Board President Sims Moten, board members, Superintendent Maldonado. I am bringing up before you the approval of the new regular classified job description of communication specialist. I just want to remind you that before I turn it over to Ed Zucchelli to give a little background, that when we present job descriptions in the classified ranks, we have gone through a process of a salary schedule analysis with CSEA, our labor partner, and we do negotiate the terms of the job description, not only the salary, but the items that are described in the job description. So with that background, I want to turn it over to Ed Zucchelli to give you a little information about the position.
Good evening, Board. In January, we had the board study session, and a need to improve our website and communications was identified as a priority. Since that time, I have spent all these months working on researching my position since I was so new and getting to know what the needs of our district really are. So if we can go ahead and go to the next slide. Oh, I have the clicker here, sorry. There we go. All right, so listed are the three components of a good communications department in any district. There's really three buckets, we like to say. Strategic communications, we have the mission and vision I work on, the stories we have to tell about what's going on at the district, including where like our pockets of growth are and the test scores, as we heard about earlier. Another one is language access, making sure we're communicating not just with certain groups of people, but everybody, regardless of what language they speak. We have day-to-day is another bucket, that's number two. One task is highlighting the smaller stories that we have in our district, whether they're little awards people want, or just making sure people know what's happening, because when you add those up in totality, you can really get a vision of where the district is going. And the last one is technical support. When I say that, I mean various graphics, flyers we need made. I mean especially website support for both the district and especially for our school sites. So with that in mind, I'm going to now show you in a moment the structure for the department, but let's stick on this slide for a moment. Right now, all these tasks are handled by myself. I have a contractor who helps me about 10 hours a week. That person is really dedicated only to the district website. He's not able to get to anything else for our school sites in particular. So if we go to the next slide, you can see this new structure we'd be working at with this position. So it'd be me, the communications manager. I would really be working in the strategic communications, the higher level stuff. And then there would be the communication specialist involved in the day-to-day communications, and then especially the technical support for the district and for schools. One example of this is earlier this year we had made the decision to create the digital form for the UCP complaint form. So I worked on that with Assistant Superintendent Shakenya Edison, and we figured out what we wanted, the language. Then I needed help because I don't have time to get into the weeds of the technical back end. So I had our digital contractor come in. He helped build the back end out so we could have it look the way it needed to and work properly. And that freed me up to continue to work on the vision, the mission statements, the media relations, and everything else I do with the day-to-day part of the district. So that's a short description of what this position would do. Are there any questions from board members?
Any requests to speak from the public? Board members, comments, questions? Nope, no questions. I do just have a question, just a maybe further clarification between this new position is out of the board study session.
Correct.
Right? Recommendations coming out of that too, because communication was a clear,
Yeah.
something that we really wanted to work on. How do we get clear of that, be more strategic in how we're doing? So I just want to
Yes.
reiterate that, where this came from.
Correct, thank you.
And so another question would be, where is that coming from in the budget to fund this position? Is it some reorganization?
So this is a ESSER 3 funded position. And we also will not be needing the services of the 10 hours a week of the consultant either.
So is there ESSER 3 monies one time? So, but this is an ongoing position, so where are we gonna be then looking at our budget to support that going forward?
That's correct. This will be one of the many on those one times where we're going to have to make decision about what placement that takes in the general fund and what goes.
Okay.
And what stays.
So I guess I know at some point we're gonna have a budget study session, so those one times that we're using to do that will come part of that. You could-
While Kim comes up, I also want to add that Ed is also working on looking to see if we can find a new website platform company. I know that some of the one we're using right now is a little bit restrictive, so this is another piece of the comprehensive look at how we push out and host information. Thank you.
Very good. So, yes, this is, ESSER is one-time funds. We have a lot of different positions we're going to be needing to look at, but we also have an LCAP we're going to need to look at too, because LCAP is a 3-year budget as well. So a lot of budgeting is going to happen kind of about the same time, and we'll be looking at all of that as it very globally and also very deeply to make sure that we're covering all those things.
Okay, appreciate that, thank you. Ms. Munoz?
Yes, I just wanted to comment that I certainly appreciate, all that you have been doing and recognize also how much needs to be done. That where we have a broad set of things that we, the website, like you said, like the different details and such, I certainly support this position.
I just will say that I think as all of these things roll out with the ESSER funding and the budgeting for next year, and when things end, there's a lot of discussion to be going on. We've heard from our teachers about the need for increased compensation, and there's no simple place to move one thing to another to resolve all of these issues. So I do appreciate hearing that we're moving towards some very significant budget study and that type of thing, and would recommend to whatever degree it's appropriate for us to have external support in understanding that budget for the long term. I would support that as well, and giving us an opportunity when this money does stop coming to really look at the priorities of how we spend what our ongoing revenue is. And of course, some of that is going to be related to what happens to our enrollment and our funding as a basic aid district as we move through. So these are all very complex pieces that are not simple answers of just saying, just cut here to do this. We have a lot of information to absorb, and I appreciate the energy around this communications position and the importance of that. But I don't know that there's going to be anything that we aren't going to have to look at with a magnifying glass to understand how to move forward in the next several years.
So with that being said, Superintendent, as we make that agenda closer to that, we want to make sure we're giving enough time for that budget study session to come.
That's later in the future events.
Oh,
We're
perfect.
going to schedule it tonight.
All right, sounds good.
Perfect.
All right, okay. With that discussion, are there any additional comments or comments? Okay, comments or questions? May I have a motion?
Everything said, I would move to approve the new communication specialist job classification, pending approval from CSEA.
I second.
Okay, my motion is second. All in favor, please raise your hand and say aye.
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 Thank you. Motion passes. Moving to F9.
Thank you. And the next
Sorry,
item.
F8.
F8, that's right. The next item is the approval of a classified job description network administrator. I do want to reiterate and emphasize that this is a regular classified position despite the job title of administrator or network administrator. Again, this has been negotiated, but it also was a part of ETS's restructuring or reorganization plan for their staffing. If you remember, that was June 27th, 2023 board meeting, action item number 9. Tony Ramirez, our CTO, described his need to take some of the network administration that's happening with a private provider and use that contract money to actually have our own network administrator, as well as using money from another position that he will collapse. And so that was part of the restructuring of his staffing that you approved on June 27th. Tony, I know, is here tonight, stands ready to present with any questions that the board might have. But with that, I would turn it over to you for those questions and your consideration of this item.
Confirm that we have no request to speak from the public. Board members, comments or questions? Hearing none, may I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve the new network administrator job classification.
Second.
Been motion and second. Please, all in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Okay, thank you.
Now we move into F9.
And F9 is our regular human resources recommendations. If you would just give me a minute or two to highlight a couple items on here. I would like to go down to retirements and congratulate Lydia Godinez, a playground supervisor at Franklin Elementary, 28-plus years service, is retiring, and also Eduardo Mera, head custodian at Roosevelt, 39-plus years of service. Also wanted to point out the promotions in the classified ranks. We have Mitzi de la Luz Vargas going from an office assistant to curriculum specialist. Edith Gonzalez from ACES assistant to a site coordinator. Lisette Juan Pablo from bilingual para to a curriculum specialist. Annabelle Sanchez from a licensed nurse 1 to a licensed nurse 2. And Kimberly Orisha going from an FE and PL to a family engagement and PL in the secondary space, range 40. And then also wanted to just highlight that Mackenzie Amundsen and Mary Clark are both receiving their master's stipend for their master's degrees. And then also there is a language premium for Maria Jimenez, our family engagement liaison at Santa Barbara High School. And with that, I'd like to have you consider approval of the board recommendation list from HR.
Hearing no request to speak. No, we have a question.
I move to approve the human resources recommendations.
I second.
Okay, motion second. All in favor, please raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Thank you, and thank you for those who are retiring. Thank you for your service to the district. Okay, now we're moving to F10. Is that still you? Yep, that's
Yes,
still
thank you very much. This is the approval of the Dean of Student Engagement reclassification. And just to give you a brief overview of this, this is taking our Dean of Student Engagement secondary and reclassifying that to be Dean of Student Engagement Junior High and Dean of Student Engagement High School. So you'll see two job descriptions are coming before you for approval. The impetus behind bringing this forward is that we have recognized that our high school deans really do take on a larger student population, but they also have a lot more after-hours supervision to stay engaged with what the students are doing on campus, supervision of sports and theater and athletic, other events that are on campus. And so this proposal is to increase the high school deans, create the high school dean position, increase it by $1,500 a year, and then create the Dean of Student Engagement Junior High and leave that at the same salary range. So you will see the approval will consist of the updated job descriptions and the actual reclassification. The salary schedules will follow in the next item. With that, I'll turn it over to the board for any questions you might have.
Okay, not hearing any request to speak from the public. Board members, any comments or questions?
Just to be clear, this is not additional positions. This is reclassification of what was all one position into two separated by their secondary assignments. Correct?
That's correct.
Any additional questions? Not, may I have a motion to approve?
I make the motion to approve the Dean of Student Engagement reclassification.
Second.
Okay, been motion and second. All in favor, please raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Dr. Becker, you're still on.
All right, last one. So, action item number 11, F11, is the salary schedules presented to you for approval. I do want to mention that when we have changes to the salary schedule, the board needs to approve those salary schedules. This is really an audit for audit purposes and ensure that PERS and STRS knows that we're paying our people the rates that are board approved and on our salary schedules. So you will see that the public content here shows you why these are coming forward. There's been several changes, in particular the reorganization of Ed Services, the Dean reclass that you just approved, Ed Data Manager, previous board meeting, Peak Program Coordinator and Director of Community Partnerships. So the salary schedules listed there contain those positions in them, and hence why they're being brought forward for you to approve. Happy to entertain any questions you might have.
Okay, no request to speak on this item. Board members, comments or questions?
I know that we've approved some of these things tonight. They've been in the planning stages. Were these position changes reflected in the September revision or the most recent revision of the budget for this year, or is there a change in the budget because of them?
They're in the budget. There were, the ones for tonight are, I would have to look and see if there were, but I think those are just some tiny, they were only $1,500 it says.
Okay.
We'll update it first interim if there's anything in there that we didn't pick up at that point.
Ms. Hernandez, we need to get you on the mic.
Or I can translate that for you, but
Anything that we missed, we'll get in first interim for sure. I think all of them have been included in the budget, but anything we miss, we'll pick up for that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any additional comments or questions from the board? Hearing none, may I have a motion? Bill, were you going?
Yep.
He's going to.
I move to approve the revised salary schedule for certificated management and classified management.
I second.
Motion and second. All in favor, please raise your hand and say aye.
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 Great.
thank you.
Thanks. That concludes our action item agenda. And so we're going to go to G because we're going to return back to the superintendent's report.
Thank you very much, Board President Sims-Moen. In the flurry of my superintendent's report, I failed to recognize and introduce our brand-new Director of Community and Partnerships, Mr. Ismael Paredes Ulloa, and I'd like to bring him up to say a few words. He has already started, and we're very grateful to have him.
Good evening, President Sims-Moen, Board, Cabinet. I was testing all of you. Good evening, President Sims-Moen, Board, and Cabinet. Yes, I'm your new Director of Community Partnerships, and I just hit the ground running, and very grateful to the full district office team who've been just wonderful, very supportive in getting me up to speed on everything that I need to know. I'm sure there's a lot more that needs to be learned, and I feel very secure in our success with the team that we have around us, and just very grateful for this opportunity to give back to the district that gave so much to me.
Board members, any comments? Ms. Munoz?
Certainly, Ish, like to give you a warm welcome and appreciate what you have done already for the district in the past and look forward to all that you're going to do in the future. Welcome. Bienvenido.
We had the opportunity to meet at the Welcome Back Day at San Marcos briefly, and I just want to say that first impressions and our discussion about what you're doing and your background being here, it's great to have you in this role. Thank you.
And finally, I get to say something, right? I've had to be quiet for all this time throughout this process. So a big welcome and congratulations for being here. Looking forward to good things that you're going to bring to this already extraordinary team. Also, we just keep following each other. We literally keep following each other. I mean, we were in a leadership cohort together, and we went to different things. So that's a good thing, right? So, and a former board colleague. So thank you so much for being here and saying yes to the district. Thank you so much. Okay. All right, we'll go to coming events, which are listed. Superintendent.
So under coming events, I did want us to, give me 1 second. I got so excited about Ishmael too. I was up here smiling. Coming events, as was stated earlier, we have back to school night, so you see the schedule for the schools there. Of course, if there's any changes, Sandra will be sure to send you a message. Prior to that, the week of August 29th to the 31st, as you know, we are working with CSBA to update all our board policies. So all of Cabinet has 3 full days of them and their teams working directly with the CSBA consultant. And we're going to be, just to give you a heads up and get ready, we're going to be bringing all those revised policies for approval in the September meetings. We have scheduled and confirmed September 23rd as our board study session. And what I'd like to do with the board tonight is see if we can maybe set the budget study session. I realize we have 2 board members missing, but Sandra and I wanted to offer 2 dates to check with the board, and I'd like to ask the board president, did you want us to go ahead and schedule that tonight, and then I'll reach out to the other 2? What would you like to do?
Thank you for that. I'm just wondering, with them two, the missing, and usually have some of the most challenging schedules, can you announce, we can look at our calendars already for those 2 dates, but are they set, are they the only 2, or like they set in, or are you, the possibility of them not working for the other 2 board members is a concern?
We had said October 7th and 21st as 2 possible dates. As you know, we have to enter our successor negotiations,
Yes.
and we wanted to make sure we do that before we
Ahead
get
of time.
there. So that's
Okay.
why we're really asking to try to get this done in October, but we understand that those, that we'll need to negotiate and more specifically, make sure that the consultants that we bring in to facilitate and help us do some of the analysis are available.
Okay, so are they holding these 2, the consultants holding these
Yes.
dates? 17? Okay. So then we're obviously, I think we just hold them until we can
Confirm.
determine, yeah, you can confirm. Ms. Minos, are you?
Yes, on October 7th, I will be out of state at a conference
Okay,
that weekend.
so that one's out. So then we have October 21st that we will hold and see I'll check in with the other 2, or do you want to check in with them? Or
I can.
Okay, so you'll check in with them about October 21st,
Mhm.
and maybe we'll come up with a November date as well, so that we'll have at least 2 dates to float with everyone. And if there's something you all already know about dates that you won't be here for a weekend, perhaps you can also send those to Sandra, like, your upcoming travel or anything like that, so that we then know to push those dates out. Anything else as far as the board's
And I'm
study session?
fine if I'm not present. I mean, I could
I know
certainly.
we need to have everybody
No,
present
this
for that
is-
one.
Oh, okay.
This is an
Yeah.
all,
This is all in.
a whole team
Don't try it,
approach.
Rose. This is all in. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's the coming events.
Okay.
And then future agenda items. Here, sorry.
No, just go ahead.
Okay, so September, you can see that we, again, have the CSBA policy updates. Kim's working on the end of the year budget unaudited actuals. We will have report number 1 of 4 for the ELA adoption. Overview of MTSS as part of our governance calendar. Williams annual resolution, parent engagement policies, annual report of teacher assignment, and our district calendar option, because that's another thing that we're going to be working on, really looking at our district calendar. I will say that this Friday, the 25th, is the closing of the oversight racial, the committee.
The end, yes.
Yes, and we will bring an update in September to the board, and I'll be writing to the board on an update on that as well, in my board note.
Okay. So just as you referred to the governance calendar, which one was that you said that's on our governance calendar?
All of these are already in our governance calendar.
Can we just make that reference so that we know that they're already in
On
the
the public content?
Yeah, just so
Got
that
it.
it's on the government calendar and we want to go, we didn't know that, but
Yes.
that's why we have the governance calendar, so we just want to make reference to it.
We can do that.
Okay, great. All right, any additional items you have? That's it, she closed her mic, that's it. Any additional items coming from board members, student board, we're good? All right, so we're now at 7:05 and we will close this meeting. So we're not okay, who won the pool? Thank you so much, that concludes this meeting.